Hello, listeners, and welcome to another episode of Subscription Scaled. I'm your host, Nick Frederick. With me today is Shunan Teng, who is the founder of Tea Drunk. Shunan, welcome to our show.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, good to have you on. Excited to learn more about your company. So why don't we start at the beginning here? Tell us a little bit about yourself and how you came to start Tea Drunk.
Of course. So my name is Shunan Teng. I founded Tea Drunk in 2013. So we have been around for about 10 years. The company, when I first founded the company, I wanted to be an introduction of traditional Chinese tea to a Western audience. So we started out as a tea house in the East Village of New York City. That lasted for about 7 years, and then COVID hit. So we quickly pivoted to a e-commerce and subscription-based business, and that kind of held us over through COVID, luckily.
Okay.
And now we definitely focus more on e-commerce and is having plans to get back to customer-facing retail as well. So that's kind of our stories thus far.
Okay. Interesting path there. Yeah. So total pivot to e-commerce because of COVID. So you weren't doing e-com at all before that?
We had a website. And that's about it. We didn't make any additional effort, such as, directing traffic to the website. And from
Okay.
what I have gathered from our consultants, most people went to our website, basically look for information about the tea house that we operated at the time.
Okay. Yeah.
And it was my plan to put in some additional work into it, but operating a retail and hospitality business while doing commerce, that was just a lot. So in a way, kind of thanks to COVID, we didn't have the other option anymore. So all the
Uh-huh.
options were cut out, and
Yeah.
I was able to focus all the resources into commerce.
Yeah, interesting. Well, this is not the typical path that we talk about on the show. Usually, starts e-commerce and stays e-commerce and sometimes even then becomes physical retail, but you guys have kind of gone the opposite direction. Did you open retail back up, or are you exclusively e-commerce now?
So our business, so we specialize in both tea and tea education and tea events. So
Okay.
for the loose leaf tea side, we right now mostly just do e-commerce. And
Okay.
but we also do a lot of corporate gifting, corporate tastings.
Hmm.
We do these very large format tea classes, usually that range from 30 to 50 hours. We call them the tea boot camps. So these are offline or in-person experiences that we do still. We also
Okay.
collaborate with a lot of different restaurants to do tea paired menus. So those are things that we do more in person that diversifies our revenue stream. But for the loose leaf tea that we used to sell in our tea house, now that's mostly e-commerce.
Gotcha. Okay. So since you had the tea house and you were obviously sourcing, for that prior to pivoting to e-commerce, you kind of had a good, I would assume, foundation there for procurement, and kind of the product itself was pretty much vetted out. You just needed to transition the business from being, physically present to online. Walk us through that process. And I know COVID kind of thrust it upon you, so you had to move and move very quickly, but take us through that time and kind of some of the logistics that you had to work through.
Right. So we certainly had advantages and disadvantages. So the major advantage we had at the time was actually time. Like I was saying, there were some decisions and some directions we weren't sure if we're going to take, how we want to prioritize our time. But COVID shifted everything around. We were like, this is something we had to do. So,
Mm-hmm.
so the entire team focused on e-commerce. It was no longer a question. But at the same time, our team, we specialize in hospitality, in-person experiences, and retail. So as a team, we had to kind of relearn a lot of skills. And that was definitely a learning curve. I worked with many different consultants, with our PR person. The entire message, everything has to be changed, right?
Yeah.
Um, and even for, especially when we were had a tea house, because we're in New York City, and I would say we operate quite a unique business, we did receive a lot of media attention. And so even that message to media is like, hey, now we're e-commerce company instead of a tea house. Even that took some get used to and a lot of conveying of the message.
Yeah.
And another very important thing for us on the product side is packaging actually. So when we
Okay.
had the retail business, or I should say tea house. So the sales process is that people will look us up for a tea experience and they come in to have tea. They feel good about the tea they tasted and they make a purchase of the tea. Packaging wasn't the major selling point and any
Right.
part of this whole process before, but now we have an e-commerce site. First of all, it needs to be in the packaging that's ready to be shipped. And so that was something that I would say took us a very long process to get it to where we are now. And we're
Yeah.
continuing to perfecting that. There were also
Hmm.
opportunities for some distribution that came along the way that required our product to be FDA compliant. And we had to shift many things around. So those were definitely some of the major challenges and changes that we had to do. And
Okay.
that's, I guess, can all be summarized as we had to relearn a work process and relearn some of the new skills that was not what we had when we first had the idea of the business, which was a tea house.
Yeah, I can only imagine like the logistical changes for going what you just described, right? From people coming into a store and then walking out versus, wanting to see something on a website and you can no longer, let them experience it right in the way that they typically would. So how did you get across on this new website how what products you offered, what they were like how did you get customers to convert on a website when they weren't physically in a store anymore?
Yes. So when we first had our website, we it was a much simpler website hosted on Squarespace. What I
Okay.
like about Squarespace is that I think it's much more modular based than the other kind of out of box solutions at the
Okay.
market at the time, and it was the templates were beautiful. So we just require very minimum training for one of our team member, and we pretty much are able to manage the ongoing in house. And then while we were doing work with SEO consultants, they were like, "This is not the best solution for SEO." What they were doing, we also
Mhm.
started to having issues with increasing inventory. There was a lot of back end issues, so we started looking into Shopify, and we
Okay.
made the switch to Shopify last year. And I would say in terms of user experience as a the operator of the website, it's definitely a little bit more glitchy and more complicated than Squarespace. I guess
Okay.
that's what comes with having a more complicated
Yeah.
operation.
Yeah.
It was a greater learning curve. We keep making different technical mistakes, and also everything is an add-on. So there are a lot of more um, kind of like app solutions that we had to deal with for subscription, for
Mhm.
rewards for newsletter and all of those things. But I think we're now at a point we kind of figure it out. We're actually in the process of doing another round of auditing and to keep improving our website as well. And of course, another major issue when we switched from person to website was the pictures. So that we also have changed our idea a couple times as well. We went first from a very dark color to give it a more like a somber feeling to then a more white and beige color to be more lively and
Okay.
inviting. We decided that we basically, because we do luxury tea, but we wanted to be as personable, as friendly as possible. In terms of a customer acquisition, we were very, very lucky that we have a very loyal following. I think this kind of comes with being in a very niche market. What we
Mhm.
offer, there are not a lot of alternatives. So once people find us, they're kind of customer for life or at least for 10 years. Yeah,
Yeah.
so we have very loyal customers and they helped us they became like our first immediate clients on the e-commerce side. Um,
Okay.
and it also kind of made referral a little bit easier as well, because now you can send people this website that, hey, this is what the tea I was telling you about. This is what I was drinking. Um,
Yeah.
that kind of helped as well. And we definitely so one interesting thing when we did the analytics on our website, and this is something that always surprise our consultants, is that we have a very high percentage of people um, who actually just type in teadrunk.com in order to find us instead of typing, let's say, a product to search for us. So that
Uh-huh.
means our brand name actually helped to direct in more traffic to our website than anything else.
Yeah.
I think it's both a good thing and also not a very good thing. That means we still rely on very much on our branding, which obviously
Mhm.
is good. We specialize, but we want to reach the broader audience. We want people who didn't know about us can also find out about us instead of
Sure.
it's always people who already know about us
Yeah.
find out about us. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Those are a couple of pretty important channels, I think, in early growth, especially, right? Is that referral, right? There's nobody better than that that's going to be, evangelize your brand and really refer friends and family to it. But what channels have you guys explored in order to get to acquire some customers that aren't coming in through word of mouth?
Right. So we started doing a referral reward program on our website, and that helped a little bit. I would say so. Um, we try to think about how we can receive the greatest audience and upstream of the funnel. And without us being very conscious trying to be like social media famous or anything, I would say we just organically develop one of the larger social media following for a tea company. Right now we have about 35,000 followers on Instagram, and
Wow.
so that helped to direct people who are at least curious about who we are to our website.
Yeah.
And we still continue to work on our middle marketing, try to make sure that we convert all of those visitors to our website to actual customers. Um, and another way that we do it is through our partners. So this
Okay.
once again is both a social media tactic, but also a offline tactic as well. Sometimes we do collaborative products. We do chocolate tea collaborations.
Mm,
We work with tea companies in other countries. So that all help to direct the traffic to our website first, and that then convert them onto our website. And once they
sure.
do come to our website, we do I would say, pretty standard thing in the industry that we offer people initial discount for joining us. And then uh, it's a work in process. We try to give people a more guided and curated experience on our website because that's
Yeah.
kind of what we are very good at in person is that highly curated experience. And we try to um, basically do recreate the same thing but in the virtual land as well. So for example, one of the um things that we want kind of debuted during COVID is a tea club where people are able to join a subscription, so they'll get their box of tea on a monthly basis. But in addition to the physical product, we also provide guided tastings for those teas as well to create a
Mm,
closer bond with our customer and
yeah.
also give it a sense that this is a highly curated experience.
Yeah. I mean, you said this previously, but it's a pretty niche market. You've got people who just love this. They're looking for it. It's something that they want. What have you seen in terms of uptake on the tea club from your otherwise, transactional consumer base?
Yes. So I have to say that we saw the biggest uptick in the several months since we rolled it out in 2020.
Okay.
I think that also has a lot to do with benefiting from the greater environment at the time that people's lifestyle kind of switch online and they start seeing like people are actively looking for things to do in the online space. So we have people who were our tea house customers who join us in the tea club, but then other people who we didn't know that also joined our tea club.
Hmm.
Um, that kind of sustained us through 2020, 2021, 2022. I would say towards the second half of 2022, we start to seeing attrition of our tea club members,
Okay.
and there is a decline in e-commerce as well. I definitely also think that part of it is due to the general environment. COVID is over. People are more into in person experiences. It's across the the board, we start seeing a decline in a lot of the online activities that started during COVID. And we also compare notes with our peers within the industry. Seems like everybody had experienced some kind of decline.
Yeah.
But I still think this is as tea industry, we also face a very unique problem, and this is also across the board with a lot of companies in the industry. Is that once you have a tea club, I guess with wine club, the same thing. You keep sending people the teas, and over time they accumulate so much of your product, but
Mm,
they're not
yeah.
able to drink them all. So they'll
Hmm.
have to either pause it or cancel it to just kind of,
Yeah.
I guess,
Yep.
manage the volume. Um,
Hmm.
so once we realized that the reason that a lot of our customer wanted to cancel subscription is that they have so much tea, we put in a new function on our website where people can actually skip subscription instead of
Okay.
cancel it, which
Yeah.
obviously is a much better option. So
Right.
since then, we're able to manage the attrition rate much better, but still, uh, I mean, if they skip a month, that is a revenue that's not coming in for that month.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
so we're actually also in the process of revamping the T Club membership, and we do have plans to start offering retail customer in-person experiences again. And we're hoping, combined with that, it'll probably help to sustain our T Club again, and then also um, uh, yeah, provide like additional revenue stream and stuff.
Yeah. Besides the recurring tea itself, the box delivery that you're sending out, are there other benefits, discounts, access that the tea club members have that others don't?
Yes, we always try to emphasize on the additional benefits, right? So it's always
Hmm.
about value adding. So
Yep.
whenever we do product collaboration, we usually seek at least a 20% discount for our T Club members.
Okay.
We obviously have no problem offering that from our half, but we also want to make sure our partners are okay with that. And also, when we do events, experience space, sometimes we offer our T Club member even steeper discount just because usually the margin is a little bit higher. And we also provide the guided tastings. We actually have a digital education platform dedicated to tea called Tea Drunk Academy. And we offer a lot of complimentary access to some of the courses for our
Okay.
tea club members. That's an
Yeah.
added benefit as well. And
Yeah.
because I mean, to be honest, we do sell a premium product at a premium price. So for a lot of our customers, when once they become our customer, they're usually pretty serious about tea. There is
Mm.
like a sense of being very geeky into the subject matter that comes with being a consumer of tea of this
Yeah.
category. So,
Yep.
so knowledge is actually something that they also seek after, and that's
Right.
usually something, and that's kind of part of my passion as well, is to share my knowledge of tea. So, so that becomes a natural value adding component to being a tea club member.
Yeah. I mean, we actually talk about that quite a bit on the show, how there's competition from subscribe and save, Amazon or whatever. But the brands that can create communities and to use your words, geeks around a particular topic or vertical, that's creating stickiness that just the other brands and Amazon will never be able to compete with.
Yes.
So are you? I'm curious what your perspective is on like your consumer base being people that just want to explore tea versus the hardcore. I know I do this. I drink it all the time, and I want to explore all these different types of teas from around the world.
Yeah, that's a great question. So one thing we discovered is that we're pretty solid in the highly specialized top geeky tea world, but that world is very small. We want to
Okay.
expand our audience, and so the price point is a hurdle, and also the message. So for a consumer to fully understand the intricacy, the makeup, the value of this whole product, that is a lot of education. So that acquisition
Yeah.
cost in terms of time is very high. So we decided to develop another product line, and we separate our original product into two product line as well. So now we
Okay.
actually And this is all thanks to e-commerce and thinking around retail and packaging that kind of guided us through this experience. Is to have Tea Drunk Reserve collection of our highest end tier.
Mm,
We have Tea
okay.
Drunk Classic collection and also Tea Drunk Everyday. So Tea Drunk Everyday is this collection that we are hoping to get. So basically, it's like at the cost that you can drink every day, but it's certainly an upgrade from your current tea drinking experience.
Okay.
Start to
Yeah.
introduce concepts such as terroir, cultivar processing to guide our consumer to care about these things. So, which village does my tea come from? What kind of varietal is this tea plant, and how is the tea actually made? But at the very, very basic level. So that is the new collection that we rolled out actually a few months ago.
Okay. Interesting. So what's the price point on those tiers?
So those is about. It comes down to depends on how much you buy, but it average to about $3.50 to $5 per serving.
Gotcha. Okay. And what are you seeing then in terms of new subscribers? Which are they picking? Because you again, being a niche market, you would think some people are going to want to come in and go straight to that reserve collection.
Right. So we actually didn't still don't have a subscription for the everyday collection yet. We only have
Okay.
for the classic and the reserve.
All right.
Um, and the main reason is we right now we're actually trying to in a way simplify our product. And so we do not so we already have two subscription tiers, right? One is at $80 a month and one is at $50 a month. We kind of
Okay.
I'm not sure we want to complicate it yet without um seeing a bigger trend.
Okay.
Because I feel like
More data.
now it might yes, it might just cause more distraction to our work. Um, but we are actually going to try something very new, which is um Amazon advertisement. So
Okay.
yeah, I have received some pitches from them. I might be convinced with that. So hopefully that will help us to see a uptick of the subscription and also the everyday series because that's more of the price point I think for Amazon.
So will you actually be selling through Amazon or just getting referrals from them?
We're going to try both because subscription is a service. Is mostly a service-based product, so
Yeah.
that one we're going to try just referral,
Yeah.
and but the Tea Drunk Everyday collection that is a physical product, so that one we might be considering listing them on Amazon. It's something that also, and when we developed the product in terms of price points and audience, we did take that into consideration because
Hmm.
over the years, many people have asked us if we have considered being on Amazon. To be honest, with our classic and reserve collection, the price point, I'm not sure it's the right fit.
Yeah.
And I look at the current tea offerings on Amazon. I definitely have certain doubts, and but I think with the everyday collection and also with these kind of new tools they're having, maybe we will see some results. But it's yet to be seen. But that's the thing we're gonna try.
Yeah. Interesting. So
Yeah, if you
is
have
maybe
any
your
insights, let me know.
well, as you're saying that, I'm thinking through, there could be consumers who are just apprehensive about trying it or want to try it in the lowest cost way possible and on a platform that they already know. So, do you think you could see some consumers maybe trying an everyday product just to get to know the Tea Drunk brand and then maybe using that to come to your website and maybe try out some other things, maybe even subscribe?
Oh, exactly. Yeah, actually, internally we call it the gateway tea.
Okay.
So, so it's the gateway
I like
tea
it.
for one to get to know tea drunk. Yeah, that's exactly what we're hoping people to do, and it's very okay for one to stick with the tea drunk everyday collection. After all, it's called tea drunk everyday. We're hoping people will um develop a habit of drinking tea every day and
Yep.
but if they want to continue the rabbit hole of not getting to know tea then they can upgrade to the classic and reserve collection.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, let's go back to the subscriptions for a second. You were talking about, the trends that you've seen in terms of subscribers coming in and then going out the bottom for a variety of different reasons. Other than pausing and skipping, what are some of the things you guys are doing to, retain members? Because as we all know, it's very costly and time consuming to acquire new customers. Better to keep the ones that you got. So what are you guys doing to try to keep them?
Right. So, on and off, we have tried to offer our members discounts for coming back to join us. But usually we try to be very timely that we know that it's at the time that when people, usually it's towards the month end, the people will start to either take action, stop, or skip or cancel subscription to prevent
Yeah.
the recurring charge to come up. And we
Mm,
try to provide some incentives, and hopefully that gives them a second thought, is that, oh, maybe I want to take advantage of this
yeah.
discount that's coming up. um, so yeah, we will always try to make our T Club members to feel more exclusive. We also have a Facebook group that's closed only to our T Club members.
Okay.
Yeah, people
Yeah.
ask me some questions. I don't know, somehow that feel makes them feel like special. And we obviously,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, we had a face to face tea house before, so obviously I love talk to people about tea, so I don't
Right.
mind that.
Well, yeah, that was going to be my follow up question. I don't know if you have any data necessarily to support this, maybe just anecdotal evidence, but I'm curious about the retention of engaged members, the ones that are on that Facebook group that send you emails that are just talking about tea versus ones that you kind of haven't heard from a while. I mean, I'm sure the rate's higher, but do you have anything that supports that theory?
Um, so when we had the tea house, our recurring customer rate, like just on our POS system, even for people who come in to have tea,
Yeah.
was over 70%, which is
Wow.
very, very high.
Oh,
And
yeah.
personally, I know that there are customers who I either have met in person before from the tea house, or I haven't met, but I recognize their name. They always offer all their teas from us. I know some of those customers have been with us for a minimum of like 7 years. A lot of them, it was from the very beginning for over 10 years. And
Hmm.
um, also, so for our website, even though we the recurring we look at it like a couple months ago, I think it was like 30%, which obviously much lower than the visitors from our tea house. But
Hmm.
like I mentioned, we do have a very high percentage of people typing directly teadrunk.com. And I will have to assume those are people who already know us instead of discovered us through other
Yeah.
channels. And that is
Yeah.
about 50%. So half the people who come on our website, they just wanted to come on our website. They weren't
Yeah.
Google other things and then it ended up on our website.
Right. Where are your customers coming from? I mean, obviously, in the beginning of e-commerce, I would assume a lot of them were coming from New York. These were the people that were physically coming in store. But how have you seen that diversify over the past couple of years?
Oh yeah, for sure. So I think the first level of a diversification, actually also because of COVID, a lot of our customers moved all over the place. Uh,
Okay.
so
Okay.
they, yes, yeah. So that, I mean, New York City was like empty at one point, and I don't think a lot of them moved back. I think now the population in New York, a lot of them are like New Yorkers.
Yeah.
um, right. So that helped to kind of diversify the location profile. But also, we have a lot of our customers from Middle East. Actually, some
Okay.
of our most devoted tea drinkers are in Qatar and Kuwait. I think it might be because actually one of them became a good friend of mine. I last year when I stopped by Qatar on my way to Maldives, I we actually met up, and and he took
Okay.
me around in Qatar for like just 19 hours. But I was like, it's like a super packed day of activity in Qatar. Um, and I had to say it has a lot to do with, so the way we do tea is very similar to wine. I think our customer has this fundamental need and appreciation for the aesthetic of taste.
Mm,
So obviously in New York, people have many different options. A lot of our customer, they're also Michelin star restaurant goers. So there are wine drinkers,
Mhm.
whiskey drinkers. They basically they want something like geeky when they eat and drink. But alcohol drinking, is not an option in Middle East. So but tea, that especially the tea that we do, actually provide that option to satisfy
Mm.
need for appreciation for the aesthetic of taste. So that's my assumption. And of course, there's already a just kind of daily tea drinking culture there as well. So
Yeah.
we need to upgrade that experience. Culturally is already there.
Yeah. Interesting. So then so you're shipping from the US to there, and what other
Uh,
countries are you seeing an uptick in?
Yes, yeah. So we ship worldwide. During COVID, there were some European countries on and off doesn't take the shipments from the US.
Okay.
Um, but now I think it's all opened up. So we also have quite some customers in Northern Europe as well. And that's also another thing that we see a trend that's where some of the world famous restaurants are. So it's pretty it makes sense that
Yeah.
our the customer who will go to these restaurant will also become customers of high-end tea that we offer. So yeah, so Northern Europe and some other European countries as well. Um, so we do ship worldwide. I would say we actually have um about 20% of our customers are not from uh Canada or US.
Okay. Wow.
And
It's
we also
awesome.
have a distributor in Mexico. Yeah, and what I love about our Mexican customers is they're so active on social media. They tag us on everything. They're always like doing fun things with the tea.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they I don't know, they write us like super poetic tasting notes. Some some of them are in Spanish. I couldn't understand it. I had to ask other people to translate for me. And yeah, but I'm like always very happy to see yeah, those customers. So obviously we do see a little different in behavior for like different demographics, but
Yeah.
yeah, but quite international.
Yeah. Well, but regardless of where they're from, having that level of engagement with your brand, I mean, that is marketing gold right there.
Yes. Yeah.
Uh, Well, Shunan, this has been a fun conversation, and I appreciate everything that you've shared about your company and your story. For anybody that has questions about what we talked about today or wants to learn more about Tea Drunk, where are the best places for them to go?
So teadrunk.com for sure. And if you're geeky about tea, also go to teadrunkacademy.com.
Awesome. Well, Shunan, thanks again for the time today. Best of luck as you guys continue to grow this business.
Oh, thank you very much, Nick. Nice talking with you.
Thanks.